The banquet hall turns into a mosh pit of pure panic. Chairs fly, glasses shatter, and the nobles lose their collective minds like it is a Black Friday sale. Lady Tiararose is out cold, draped over some random noble like a wet towel. Her eyes snap open, sweat beading on her forehead as her brain tries to perform a hard factory reset. The data downloads instantly. She freezes. She is not just some random extra. She is the Villainess. Her head throbs as the memories flood in. In her past life, she was a certified sweaty gamer. She camped outside the store for Heart Nights, snatched the disc, and grinded that romance route to 100% completion without sleeping for 3 days. This is not a fever dream. She looks at her hands, then the room. The graphics are too good. She actually got isekai'd. She recognizes the texture packs. She is standing inside the Ring of Lapis Lazuli, the exact kingdom from the game she worshipped. But the RNG gods absolutely scammed her on character creation. She did not spawn as the cute heroine. She is Tiararose Lapis Clementille, the prince's fiance, the rival, the designated evil villainess who is scripted to lose everything she owns. If she had main character plot armor, she would be fine. But the real heroine is already in the capital, stealing hearts and wrecking homes left and right. She runs the calculations in her head. The protagonist, Akari, transferred here 2 years ago. That means the game is already in the final act. She does the math and realizes she is completely cooked. Tomorrow is the graduation party, the dreaded condemnation event. The prince is going to annul their engagement and send her straight to the lobby. The silence of her dorm room feels heavy. The air is thick with impending doom. Tiararose wakes up feeling like she just went 12 rounds with a semi-truck. Her vision is blurry, swimming in a sea of confusion, until a voice slices through the noise like a hot knife through butter. Heart Nights. Her heart does a backflip. She is staring down the barrel of the first prince, the main conquest target, rendered in perfect 4 resolution. But do not expect warm towels and sympathy. He hits her with a smirk so nasty it should be illegal, accusing her of faking the collapse just to steal clout from Akari. The absolute audacity. In the game, this guy was a total simp who worshipped the ground she walked on. Now he is looking at her like she is a bug splattered on his windshield. It sends a chill down her spine. She calculates the odds and decides to cut her losses. She politely thanks him just to get him out of the room, desperately clinging to her title as fiancé like a lifeline. She knows she is fighting a losing battle. Akari has already speedrun the romance route and left her in the dust, but then her brain catches a glitch. Akari is a Japanese name. You cannot change the heroine's name in the settings. That implies Akari is not an NPC. She is another player abusing cheat codes. Heart Knights clears his throat, snapping her out of the theory crafting session. He drops the hammer. He will not be escorting her to the graduation party tomorrow. He stares her down with eyes dead enough to freeze water, and she just takes the L, agreeing to go solo. Her quick surrender actually short-circuits his brain. He literally asks why she is not nagging him about his duty as crown prince. She forces a plastic smile onto her face, but inside her head, her chibi avatar is screaming Captain Obvious and breathing fire. The restraint level is over 9,000. It does not matter what she says anymore. The ending is already scripted in stone. He takes her silence as a win and walks out the door. That final click of the latch seals her fate like a coffin. Tiararose sits in the silence and runs the simulations in her head. If the game script holds up, tomorrow is not a party, it is a public execution. She can practically feel the heat from the crowd waiting to roast her alive. She reviews the replay of her so-called crimes. Her great sin was trying to stop the heroine from stealing her fiancé. Apparently, trying to keep your engagement from imploding is now grounds for immediate cancellation. She replays the tape. It was not even that deep. She remembers catching the girl putting her hands on another engaged guy, and she shut that nonsense down with extreme prejudice. Okay, maybe she went full Karen mode, but rules exist for a reason. She is a duke's daughter and heir to the Lapis name. Since when does an earl's kid get to disrespect the server hierarchy like that? Here is the lore drop. The Lapis family is basically royalty without the crown. She was min-maxed from birth to be the perfect queen, while the prince was out there trying to speedrun a scandal. Her dad, the prime minister, gave her one main quest. If your husband acts up, fix him. She thought her nagging was a love language. He thought it was a debuff. It took getting sent to the lobby and respawning to realize this guy has the emotional depth of a generic NPC. She scoffs at the ceiling. She is absolutely done caring. For a second, she calculates the odds of just ghosting the graduation. Her hands are literally shaking at the thought of walking into that trap, but she cannot do it. The Lapis Pride code will not let her run away like a coward. Wait. She digs through her gamer memories. The bad ending is not a game over screen, it is just banishment. A spark of hope lights up. As long as she does not get deleted, she can work with this meta. Exile sounds like a vacation compared to this drama. She starts visualizing her new life, hanging laundry, baking bread, and living that cottagecore dream. Honestly, it beats being married to a man-child prince. She was a commoner in her past life anyway, so she is built for the grind. She clenches her fist. She has got this. She realizes the Heart Knights she loved was just pixels on a screen. The guy in the other room is a total stranger. But just as she locks in her resolve, someone bangs on the door. The plot is not done with her yet. False alarm, folks. It wasn't a raid boss, just the valet. She instantly equips the polite noblewoman persona, flashing a smile that could fool a lie detector. But as the carriage wheels start turning, she is mentally rehearsing every single step of her own downfall. The strategy is locked. Tomorrow she accepts the breakup, tanks the public humiliation without a single flinch, and quietly exits the server. No drama, just a tactical retreat. Let's rewind. The library was dead silent, but the vibe was off. Someone was camping in the corner, tracking her hitbox like a sniper waiting for the perfect shot. Enter Aquestide Marinforest, the crown prince of the neighboring server. The man was stuck in analysis paralysis. He wanted to approach her, but his social stats were lagging. He stood there, frozen, until a sudden noise shattered his concentration. Tiara tried to stand, but her connection to the server timed out. Her legs turned to jelly, the room tilted, and the NPCs around her started losing their minds. She plummeted toward the floor, bracing herself for massive fall damage. But just before she hit the deck, a pair of arms secured the package. 0 HP lost. Aquestide caught her with elite reflexes. He didn't hesitate. He scooped her up and sprinted for the infirmary like he was speedrunning the level. He couldn't process the data. Tiara was a tank. She always had a smile on her face. Why did her system suddenly crash? He ran the diagnostics while he ran the halls. It wasn't just stress. The rogue variable was Akari. That transfer student was getting way too cozy with Tiara's fiance, and it was draining Tiara's stamina bar. The chat was already spamming rumors that the prince was going to dump Tiara for the new girl, but Aquestide didn't see a tragedy. He saw a win condition. If that engagement breaks, he is swooping in to propose before the cooldown even resets. He laid her down in the infirmary. He calculated his options. He had the political power to force a marriage treaty right now, but he refused to be that guy. He respected her agency, so he backed out of the room before he did something desperate. He stared at his hand. It was trembling. He finally touched his crush and his heart rate was spiking. With graduation dropping tomorrow, he tried to tell himself these feelings were just a temporary glitch, but deep down he knew he was lying to himself. Tiararose lets out a sigh so heavy it probably altered the local gravity. She just realized the worst possible news. She has been reincarnated as the villainess of an otome game. And the timing? Absolutely trash. Today is the graduation party, otherwise known as the game over cutscene where her life gets sent to the lobby. Her maid Philin begs her to ask her father for an escort, but Tiararose shuts that down immediately. The king is attending, so her dad is on the clock. She has to face the firing squad solo. Besides, her dad is a total helicopter parent. If he knew she was walking into a trap, he would go full nuclear. Philin senses the bad vibes and swears her ride or die loyalty. Tiararose knows the villainous condemnation event is locked and loaded, but Philin has the ultimate counter strategy: snacks. Sugar is the only coping mechanism that works across dimensions. Tiararose decides to carb load before her execution. Philin is not letting it slide though. She is pouring tea with murderous intent, wondering why Prince Heart Knights, the fiance, is not here to escort his lady. That is strike one, buddy. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. Tiararose thinks it is a quest update while casually munching a cookie, but nope, it is a jump scare. Lady Akari bursts in like she owns the place. Zero manners. Tiararose switches to customer service voice instantly, thanking her for the concern while internally screaming. Akari starts complimenting the dress, acting like a total angel. She mentions Heart Knights was so worried about Tiararose. Tiararose is thinking, yeah, he is my fiance. Worrying is literally the bare minimum. The audacity is real. Speak of the devil. The prince arrives. Tiararose drops a perfect curtsy, but her internal monologue is loading a shotgun. He said he was too busy to escort her, yet here he is, hanging out with Akari. He asks if she is healthy enough for the party. Translation: Are you ready to be publicly humiliated? Akari is practically glued to his arm. Tiararose calls them out for acting like a couple, and the prince just brushes it off. Absolute clown behavior. Tiararose realizes the clock is ticking. She politely kicks them out so she can finish getting ready. She apologizes for the rush, but honestly, she just needs these two lovebirds out of her face. As soon as the door shuts, Philly explodes. She noticed the details. The prince's tie and Akari's ribbon, they are matching. Color-coordinated betrayal. Tiararose just sighs. She tried to warn Akari about the optics, but that girl has the memory of a goldfish. Philin is ready to commit treason, suggesting they cancel the wedding right now. Tiararose laughs it off. She knows the prince is going to dump her in about 20 minutes anyway. Might as well let him do the paperwork. Philin starts plotting to tell Tiararose's dad, which would start a civil war. Tiararose has to gently talk her down. Let's not destroy the kingdom just yet, okay? Finally, the moment of truth. The Grand Hall. Tiararose realizes she is the last one to arrive. This is it. Opening these doors triggers the cutscene. The condemnation event is waiting on the other side. She sends Philin away. She needs to do this alone. One deep breath to steady the nerves. It is showtime. The doors creak open and the announcer drops the name like a bomb. Tiararose steps into the lion's den completely solo. She scans the room and thinks, entering the condemnation event without backup? Bold strategy, me. The crowd is whispering, judging her every step, but she spots the real problem instantly. The main event squad is already waiting, looking like they are about to drop the worst mixtape of the century. She scans the lineup. Every single capture target is here. Weird. She barely spoke to these guys. She thinks, is the game bugging out? Did I miss a DLC? Before she can check the patch notes in her brain, Heart Knights triggers the cutscene. He doesn't waste a second. He screams it at the top of his lungs. Engagement over. The crowd loses their minds, gasping like they just saw a ghost. Tiararose doesn't even flinch. She just looks him dead in the eye, calculates the audacity, and asks the million-dollar question. Why? He tries to gaslight her with, ask your heart. She shuts that down immediately. I don't understand. She stares him down in front of the king. She thinks, if you want to replace the future queen, you better have the paperwork ready, not just vibes. The royals are furious at the backtalk. Her dad is vibrating with rage, looking like he is about to delete someone from the server. She has to calm him down before he commits treason. Meanwhile, Heart Knights pivots to White Knighting Akari, who plays the victim card like a pro. Then comes the laundry list of crimes. Heart Knights claim she bullied Akari. Her sin? Telling the girl to kneel for royalty. Tiararose realizes this guy is actually dumber than the game AI. She thinks, I wasn't bullying, I was teaching the girl basic survival skills so she doesn't get executed. She breaks it down for him slowly. You kneel for kings. You don't dance with another woman's fiance unless you want to start a scandal. Heart Knights clenches his fist. He knows she is right, but he is too deep in the sauce to admit it. She twists the knife. He danced with Akari twice in public. That is basically a marriage proposal in this world. He tries to deflect, claiming Akari was viciously attacked. He is blindly believing the crocodile tears over his fiance's entire life history. She drops the alibi. They were never alone. There were witnesses. Heart Knights freezes. He never checked the facts. Akari starts stuttering, admitting Tiararose's friends were there. Heart Knights ignores the massive plot hole and corrects her grammar instead. Unbelievable. Tiararose shuts down the slander against her squad. The crowd starts whispering. This accusation is flimsy, but Heart Knights doesn't care about the truth. He just wants out. Tiararose accepts the reality and thinks, fine, he has chosen the other girl. Have fun with that. She is ready to walk away. A peaceful breakup sounds nice, but Heart Knights isn't satisfied. He declares Akari the future queen, and because Tiararose had an attitude, he decides to go nuclear. Banishment. The entire court freezes. The crowd is literally thinking, is this guy brain dead? Tiararose isn't scared for herself. She is scared because her dad is about to turn this genre from romance into a battle shonen. A new player enters the chat. He steps into the frame with zero hesitation, telling her to keep her chin up because she is the only one who matters. He is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Tiararose clocks him instantly. It is Prince Aquasteed. Her trembling stops dead as she realizes the cavalry has arrived to save the run. She is thinking, wait, is this a hidden event? While she stares at him with those sparkly anime eyes, Aquasteed marches right past the awkward silence to confront the ex. He walks with the swagger of a man who owns the server. Heart Knights tries to flex, barking that this is a private breakup. The audacity of this man is actually impressive. He really thinks he is still the main character. Aquasteed shuts him down with a smile that screams danger. He politely informs the idiot that he is making this his problem. You stick a fork in him, he is done. Tiara starts sweating bullets. This scene was not in the game walkthrough. The plot has officially gone off the rails. She is internally screaming, where is the strategy guide for this route? The prince goes for the world record speedrun. He confirms she is single and drops a marriage proposal before the previous breakup even cools down. No hesitation, just straight to the endgame content. Tiararose completely short circuits. Talk about a rebound. She went from public enemy to future queen in 30 seconds flat. That is the biggest comeback I have ever seen. But do not relax yet. A bug crawling on the dessert table hints that this sweet moment is about to get messy. Here is the kicker. The devs always add a twist.